Hi, I'm Dr. Clare Steffen, and I'm here to talk with you a little bit about my Cognitions of Choice cards that I created. And these Cognitions Choice cards are to help you create a philosophy for living so that whenever you're making any kind of choices in life, it will make it easier for you to make healthy choices. We're forced to make choices all day long, and some choices come very automatically. Some of them we struggle with, and we have to think about our thoughts and our feelings before we make a decision. And some choices, we have more of a spiritual connection to or a deeper level of thinking. And so they're more of a conscious kind of choice. And so this card deck is set up to look at the three different levels of thinking as it pertains to choice, and also to develop some skills, traits, and abilities that will help make it easier for you to make healthy choices. So the first suite within the deck is focusing on the 24 different traits that are part of this philosophy for living. So they're dispositional traits, if you will, and in some cases, they're skills or abilities that you would want to focus on developing. And I encourage people to use a journal where they keep track of these changes that they're going to experience as they apply these and develop these traits within their philosophy for living. And so, in different parts of the YouTube channel, you'll find different sections of videos on cognitions of choice, and you can listen to them to learn more about that. But this tape this time is really just to teach you a little bit about how to use them. So I created a philosophy that has 24 different traits and abilities or skills that you want to focus on. And the idea is that when you're in a position to make a choice, if you exercise these enough, they become part of your thinking so that you don't have to necessarily struggle with them so much in order to make a choice or a decision in a healthy sort of way. And so here's an example of one, courageous acts. And so, in other videos, like I said, I give you information about what that means, but I also encourage people to create their own definition of what these specific traits mean so that they have meaning to you and how you relate to them. So that's the first suite, is looking at those 24 different traits. The second suite, and you'll differentiate them because they have different color background, looks at an assessment tool that I created that's available online, that through these cards you would have access to. And you go online and you take this simple assessment, and it take you about 20 minutes to take the assessment, and it will create a report for you. And it measures your confidence for making choices in 9 different trait areas, and also a global measure of confidence. So it's looking at congruent choice, in other words, the connection between what you think and feel and how congruent that is. And it looks at reducing fear around making healthy choices, empowerment, respect, assertiveness, optimism, resilience, maintaining your dignity, and developing integrity. And then, as I said, a 10th global score. And that's all that gets measured within this creating confidence assessment. And you can take the assessment repeatedly over time as you start to develop your philosophy for living and you have a little bit more experience with applying it. The third suite, again, different color background here, same emblem, but different background, looks at the different types of choices we make. Now, there's probably many more different types than the types that I've given here as an example, but some that I've given are like best case scenario, assertive choice, tolerable choices, intolerable choices, yes, no choices. And so what you would do is with these cards, you could put them out on the table and you could look at it in terms of a pros and cons kind of approach. When you're making a specific choice, then you can also utilize your trait cards, and you could go back in and pick out a specific trait card that you might want to apply to that specific type of choice that you're making. So, if it's a yes, no choice, maybe it's one that requires that courageous act. So you put that out as a reminder to cue yourself that you're going to need courage in order to make that choice. And, as I said, you'll have your own personal definition around that. But maybe the choice involves something about respecting equality or looking for equality, for example, in developing a healthy relationship. And so you want to have a way to focus on that. And the image in this card is meant to help you focus on it. And the exercise of utilizing it as part of your philosophy for living is meant to encourage you to develop that as a strong trait that you can tap into. That fourth and final suite has a little different background again in color. And this speaks to the different levels of choice that we operate at. The first level is that we are coming from a place of automatic thought, and our thoughts come up very quickly in this case, and sometimes they're healthy, sometimes they're not healthy. And so we want to invite change or a choice that's going to be a healthy choice at this level. And so we have to practice and use rehearsal. So it's very important to be developing those 24 trait skills or abilities that become part of your disposition at that point in time, so that we get really good at being able to use them and exercising our brain to use them. And then, with that, as we get better at that, and we get better at making choices with less stress or less resistance, we're going to move into the second level of choice thinking that has to do with investigating choice. So we're going to open that choice portal now and be more able to be comfortable or tolerate different levels of thinking, feeling, and being as it relates to choice. And so we have more options as we begin to investigate. So, in this case, it's not going to be a simple yes, no, A, B type of choice. It may be broader, like A, B, C, D types of choices. And so that third level, when we get really good at investigating, that we move to is more about initiating choice. So now we're ready to make some changes because we've put in the foundation to look at inviting the choice, in being more investigative of the choice, and then being able to initiate the choice. The other thing I think about is, in terms of these three different levels, is that some of them are related to primary decisions that really are focused on things that we need to sustain in order to be well. And they are really related to automatic thought process, in terms of the opportunities that we have for change. But as we move into that investigative level, we're going to be more at a meta stage of thinking. So we're thinking about our thoughts, we're thinking about our feelings at a deeper level. And so we're making choices in a more open portal sort of way. And so these might involve choices that perhaps are a little bit more about empowerment and becoming more proficient in a skill. And that third level, where we're really now able to investigate and be more open, we have more of an open learning style, and we're really at a more conscious level. And perhaps we're looking now at achievement, or we're looking at recognition, or some deeper level of conscious thought. And so what I'm encouraging here is that we all have different struggles in life, and sometimes it's easy to make choice, and sometimes it's difficult because we have so many choices available to us in life. We can become overwhelmed. There's also times in life when people struggle with choice because maybe it's been something that's been taken away from them because of trauma or because of addiction. So they have to retrain the brain to be able to learn how to make healthy choices. Or maybe they were never in a situation to have the option to make healthy choices. So they have to acquire the skills to be able to do that. So taking the time to create a philosophy for living based on choice is a sustainable option, and it will keep you well through your life, because the better you get at it, the easier it is to make healthy choices. If you are interested in these Cognitions of Choice cards, please visit my website, coachingchoicecollege.com. .info, I'm sorry, not .com. I also have that site, but I'm encouraging you to go to coachingchoicecollege.info and then click on the site where there is the choice card decks, and there's a little thumbnail image for the Cognitions of Choice cards, which will bring you to a page for makeplayingcards.com, where my storefront is called Choice Studios, and that's where you can purchase the card decks. So I look forward to hearing back from you. I'm hopeful that you'll start to use these cards and make a philosophy for living that's meaningful for you. Thank you very much for listening, and I do hope this is helpful to you.